See if we're live. Facebook. Bingo, there I am. Okay, perfect. Let me cut down this volume initially so that I can pull this up. You know what? We're not going to do this like this. I'm just going to pull it up on my iPad so that if you guys end up coming on live and making comments, I'll be able to see them. But all of you guys have cut down this volume. There's so much going on in your life. I honestly don't know if anybody's going to be able to join me live after we made the decision to pick this day. So let me just put a little comment in the Zoom. Initially, you won't be on camera. Hopefully my thing is right. Typing in questions as we go. Bam. Okay. There we go. I think I'm satisfied. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, beautiful people. It has been one heck of a week. It's been one heck of a month. It's been one heck of a year. And for some of you, based on the messages I got, it's been one heck of a day. I've been doing cleanse, and unfortunately, we'll just say that cleanse got the better of me, but I'm here. I am here, and we are going to talk. Oh, am I frozen? Hopefully it's going to keep on playing through the replay because I need to, oh, one little piece of hair just fine. There we go. So it's moving now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm here because we need to talk about powerful posting. Okay, so now let me go ahead and just put this out here. Some of you are seeing this training, you're newer to the group, and when you're looking at it, you might be like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, this is a lot. But this progression is different. You have to show what they got going on, what kind of money they're making, what kind of progress they have, you watching the way that they're posting, what's going on with them. You could be like, oh, and it's not a race. It's not a do this. Dang it, it is still frozen on my end. I'm glad that I'm looking at this online because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to see this is going on. Please, come on, y'all. Please, please, please. I'm gonna try this again. It seems like it's taking more time just to get started than anything. Okay, there it goes. So it's live streaming. Okay. No, it's not. It's moving slow. Let me see what it's doing. Hold up. Try this again. It seems like it's taking more time just to get started than anything. Okay, there it goes. So it's live streaming. Perfect. Okay, good. So let's get this party started because I feel like I'm fighting just to get this going. So powerful posting. You've seen these people write these posts, right? And they look like they're a country mile long. And in your brain, you might be saying, who in the hell is going to read all of that? And the honest to goodness truth is your ideal client will. And if you think about it, some of you have read some pretty long posts by me. And even if you only kind of skim through after you've read so many posts by me, you still want to get to the core of what I'm saying. But when people read these kind of posts, they get convicted. This is basically sales copy. And that's why I'm merging both of the trainings for both groups at the same time to do the sales training and the fix my business training. So, you know, the people that are in the sales component, you're going to get a little extra going one way. And the people that are just in the fix my business component, you're going to get a little bit of extra, you know, from the sales side. But instead of trying to tailor both of these separately and only stick to specific things in one group and then do the same training all over again and stick to another segment, it was like, hey, just give it all away and leave it as it is. And when you're doing posting, you are promoting yourself, You are putting something out there, convicting, and this is about you all making an offer. What happens with the most of you is kind of like you post something. You probably post a picture or some kind of imagery that lines up with your values or what you mean to say. You may post something inspiring that someone else said, and I need you to get used to posting what you say and quit quoting everybody else, because ultimately what you're doing is you're promoting that person or that company. Some of you may write something out and it could be a little deep and it's more about you than it is about your client. And it's not anything that's going to convict anybody to buy something from you. And you guys have heard me tell you all, to do that and to speak with more you statements and less I statements and stuff like that. And so today, what we're going to learn about is how to do that. This is one of those trainings like the ideal client assignment that is going to be a little longer. So, bear with me. I understand if you guys got to come back and watch this in parts. And if you haven't completed the ideal client assignment, and if you haven't or gotten to phase 2, you'd be like, phase 2, if you don't know any better of the ideal client assignment, then you may have difficulty with this. So please understand that if it's kind of like a lot of confusion, some of the answers to your confusion may be in you completing that assignment and then saying, oh, I see how all of this comes together. And so we want to know how to write fire copy, right? Because fire copy is part of how you market yourself. And a lot of people will say, I hate marketing myself. I hate marketing. But marketing isn't anything that you should pass on to anyone else until you've honed it for yourself. As a matter of fact, if you haven't honed it for yourself, you can't really pass it on to somebody and then it's very effective. And that's just being real. There's no way that you can do it. So I just wanted to put that out there. Let's see. What other disclaimer did I want to make? I don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm good. But like I told you all, I got a little bit delirious. And so there should be a PDF. You guys should have printed it out. And it's training 5 powerful posting. That's because that's training. This is the 5th thing that we do in a PPP group. So you guys are about to see what I taught the people in that 12-week boot camp. Is just that everything was blitzed to them really quick, and these were people with more established businesses, and so they were able to implement the stuff more rapidly and get results more quickly. But trust me, all of my clients do this. And once again, if you look at them, if you're connected to some of the people, you'll look at the way that they post, the things that they say, and you'll understand that there's some logic behind it in what you do. So there are several elements to a powerful post. And you got your list of them. Number 1 is your title. Your title does need to speak to the desires of the people that you are talking to. And you need to, stay focused on just one thing. It's easy to be like, hey, you know what? I can help you fix your business, sell, help your mindset. But if you notice, when you see posts for me about selling, that post is specifically and strictly about selling. When it's about fixing my business, it's about the elements of fixing my business. So you really want to make sure as many things as you can offer that you stay, on one main topic. The third thing is you need to be able to present their present and you need to present their future view. So you need to be able to discuss where the client is based on where they want to be. And that's something that you do in phase 2 of the ideal client assignment. The 4th thing is you need to talk about the outcome of the offer that you're going to put in the post. You need to be making sure that, you talk about things based on the client's identity, their characteristics. You need to have a call to action, limiters, bonuses, and testimonials. And I'm going to break down what each of these things are. We're going to talk about how you do it, and then you're going to go from there. And I'm trying to think in here. Yeah, I do have examples of long and short posts. So this right here, even though I'm teaching you how to do a powerful post and it may be long, you can take these elements and you can make it and condense it into something short. Every time you get ready to do a post, you don't have to make an essay, and you're going to find that you should have that one post that you use on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, I have one that's running as an ad right now for the free Close the Sales webinar that I did. And the copy needs to stand the test of time, because the repetition is what provokes people to say, oh, I keep on seeing this. I need to do something. I need to buy this, and so on and so forth. So anyway, let's go ahead and just break down all of these elements. The title has to speak directly to their desires. And sometimes you guys could be like, okay, well, I want you to help you create the life that you desired. I want you to be financially independent. I want you to, get over, the hurdles of life. And we can get marketing, right? This is not the place for marketing speech. This is where you literally go plain language as possible. I can't emphasize how much plain language is important. So a person is like, dang it. Does she have cameras in my house? How does she know what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling at this moment? And the example that I gave was, learn how to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. How do you learn how to quadruple your income? Finally start making money in your business. Get the promotion that you've always desired. Finally get that emergency fund on point. Get yourself out of the black and out of the red and into the black with your finances. Get rid of church hurt so that you can get over, the guilt of sin, or, stop waiting on the pastors or somebody to give you permission for something that you wanted to do. You really don't believe a word that was in the Bible, whatever. It's just whatever it is you need to have that title, and that title needs to be out there, and that title needs to speak in such a way that it provokes thought. You need to be asking a question. You need to be saying where they are. You need to challenge their beliefs. You need to do something that will make somebody pause and say, what she say? Hold up. Let me read I just want to be curious. What the hell is August talking about right now when she says, without this one thing Saul, women will continue to lose, money in their business. So your title has to speak directly to the desires. It can't be, a 15-word sentence. You need to condense it as much as possible and say that one powerful, impacting thing over and over and over again to get your client's attention. Now, when I talk about the part 2 was laser focusing on that one thing, in order for you to paint a picture, which is one of the most important things you do when you do these posts, if you notice, I'll be like, yeah, I was working with this one lady. She felt like this and this happened. Or I've seen, women in business go through these different phases and they start their business and then trouble comes and they quit, blah, 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 blah. I'm painting a picture. And so you can't paint a picture if you are bringing, you can't thanks a lot, LOL. Charlene, when you see this point, your message just distracted me. I'll see you when you get here. When you're paint, you can't paint a picture if you're talking about too many things. And you're going to learn when you do the day in the life of your client, which is phase 2 of the ideal client. You're talking about what things look like. And so if I'm talking to a woman about sales, I'm painting a picture like, you had that person that said they were interested in working with you and you were excited. You gave them your number. You weren't sure whether or not you should have just gave it to them. If you should have set up an appointment, should they have filled out, an application, and then you get on the call and you're like, this person seems so excited to work with me, but they never asked to work with you and you never asked them and you're wondering why they're not jumping on an offer. Well, I'm here to let you know that isn't you selling, that's you hoping that things will work out. Hello, darling. I'm mad that I know you can't get on. It's okay, but you're with me live. And so that you can't paint a picture like that if you're trying to say, yeah, well, this could be going on with your business and you could be having trouble with your mindset and your thinking, and this could be going on. No, you need to stay so laser focused on that one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I had one client who used to talk about period pain all the time. And I'm like, okay, but if you're talking about period pain, you can't start talking about ancestral baggage because that's what she would do. I was like, no, just stay with where a woman is. Talk to the woman who is sick of having obnoxiously heavy flow, headaches before and after her cycle or during her cycle, who's having the eating cravings while she's struggling to lose weight. For the obnoxious cramps, like really paint a picture of how when you wake up in the morning, how you may even be one of those women where that's the one day every month that you call off from work and you don't go in. It's about painting the picture so somebody is like, oh my God. So if her title of her post was, speaking directly to the period pain, then she could stay focused on this one thing and tell the story of what that pain looks like. So example that I gave on here is you want a website you could be proud of. A lot of you know that I used to work with Samoa. And so that was one of the things we talked about, having a website that you could be proud of, having a website that sells, so on and so forth. Where the nugget was to keep in mind that you got excellent results. You're going to transition into bragging with this one. You know what is wrong. And so what you have to do is you got to talk about what do people really want, you know, from an excellent website, because you have this site that you're ashamed of. You don't really like people to go to it because you know that you did it yourself. You compare it, even though you told yourself you're not supposed to compare. You look at it, some of these other people, and you believe that that's part of the reason why they're successful, because you believe and can see how they could be making money and generating from their website. But then here you have this site, and you know, yada yada yada. You can really paint the picture. So that's part two, laser focusing in on something. Number three is, while you're doing all of this, you have to talk about where they are versus where they want to be. And I wrote on here, you know, to say it plain, you know, where are they and where do they want to be? But I want you to use bullet points. I want you to skim. I want you to use action oriented language. I want you to state the desire as if it is in motion. Now you hear those things. You got to say things really plain, and you don't want to, you know, you'll see how people put the little check mark and then they have all of these, or they'll have the bullet for the bullet points. That's when they start throwing like the emojis in and stuff like that. They're that way a person, if they decide to skim, it's like, yep, that's me. Pain in the morning, headache before and after, sick of the cravings for the chocolate, you know, horrible cramps, heavy flow. Bam. They're like, yeah, all of that's me, or 3 or 5 of them is me. I need to get this thing solved. And so you need to be able to do that. So make sure that when you talk about, you know, where they are, you paint a picture and say, you know, this is what you're dealing with. And then you go back and say, but what you would like to be is to, you know, who enjoys having a cycle, but you want to have it without all of the extra discomforts. You want to be able to still function. You want to still be able to get around and do what it is that you need to do. You don't want to have to wear a you will no longer have to wear a tampon and a pad. You know what I'm saying? And that's an example of like saying what the, you know, what is it? What do they want to be? That's what they want. And so what's going to end up happening, hey Terry, is you're going to feel like you're kind of being redundant. And the honest to goodness truth is you are, but you got to understand, like, repetition is the best teacher. Repetition is also the best seller. So when you get to the next component of writing these powerful posts, you have part 4, and that's when you express the outcome. But you're gonna express the outcome based on your best testimonials, and you're gonna make sure that you put it out there using action in oriented words or emotionally charged words that express the feelings and what it is that they're desiring. And so, yeah, you said this is where you are, this is where you want to be, and these are the results that I get you. Yes, you have to be redundant and say it again. The fifth element, which is, you know, speaking directly to the client's characteristics, is basically that point in the post when you say, I'm speaking to the woman to who, not to the woman who. And you got to do this because it's part of your repellent. Attractiveness is important as repelling when it comes to marketing your business, and you have to make it plain. You know, I'm speaking to the person who has money coming in, but you trying to stop the drain because you know you have the money to save, but you feel guilty because you know you have wasteful spending. I'm not speaking to the person who's hoping and praying that somebody gonna make a miracle and put some money, you know, because you can't get blood from a turnip. If you don't have the money to save, then you have to understand that in order for you to get to the next position to work with me, evidently you're gonna have to take on a second job. I need a go-getter. I need a person who's going to do whatever they got to do in order to change their financial situation. And something like that will keep a person from reaching out to you if they broke. It'll keep a person from reaching out to you and saying, oh yeah, you know, I can't wait. I am going to eventually work with you. And it's like, well, that person shouldn't be reaching out to you until they're ready to work with you. And that's real talk. The other element is to make sure you have a call to action. And you guys have gotten really good to this because I've been saying that this is something that you need to do, but you got to say somebody, join this club, go to this link, join this boot camp, sign up for this free offer, sign up for this paid offer. And when you say it, just like with the sales book, for those of you that read it, you say something in very plain language. You know, they'll be like, click the link and join today. Be like, look, if you're ready to get your finances on track, if you're ready to get healed so that you can go ahead and go on with your life and actually be able to enjoy church. You know, if you want to, like I said to Mom, when I know more about what you're doing, that's when I'll start giving examples, because I really don't want to give examples for you and they're not laser sharp. I like to give laser sharp examples, the kind of stuff that makes you say, hold up, let me quote you on that. So until we get a little bit more traction, I'm going to hold off on using you for an example. And I just want you to understand that we can always do that in spin-off live videos from here. Even though you ladies came in late, I hope you're tracking. This is all going to come back together. So you have to put the call to action in there. Another element is a limiter. There always needs to be either a limited amount of time, a limited number of people, or a limited price opportunity. Be like, sign up now while the price is only 47, because on this date it goes to 97. This offer is a steal at this price, but you can only get it for this long. This is for the first 10 people that sign up, or for people that sign up by this date, you get this bonus. Something has to be expressed that there's a limit, because part of making a powerful post is expressing some kind of sense of urgency. Then there's bonuses. You need to ramp up the desire. So a powerful post really play with people's emotions. So on one hand, they're like, oh my God, I need to get in while the getting is good. A prime example is like the Close the Sales Club. It already had one price point that was very affordable, but for the people that came and watched the webinar, I was like, people on my email list, go ahead and get an opportunity to get in here while the getting is good, and you can get it for, $10 off. You said, I've got stuff going on. I know, beautiful. I'm glad you tried to, come in, and if you kind of halfway listening or not listening at all, I totally get it. But anyway, you got to ramp up a desire. And so that could be to say, for the first 10 people, I'll throw in a 30-minute call or something like that, an extra session, extra materials. One of the things I'm offering with my book deal is that if they sign up by my birthday, they'll get the video tutorials. You want to try to make the bonus something that's not going to require you to do too much work, or that's going to benefit you anyway. Like sometimes I'll give a bonus offer that I'm going to do a call with people, but I need to do the call with anyway, just to, extract the data to make sure that I'm, really good at serving them. Can I do it without the call? Yeah. But usually if I do the call, there's a higher price point. So to give it for free, but I'll still only give it to so many people so that I'm not talking my brains out with a whole lot of people. And so that's, you ramp up the desires. And then last but not least, which this will be woven in there as well, you got to make sure you put your testimonials. And once again, this is a point in your post where it is very short. It's simple. I'm not going to say that I work with a woman who was barely making $500 in her business and started making $2,000 in her business. I'm going to say I work with a woman who quadrupled her income in 30 days. I'm not going to say I work with a woman who couldn't sell a $7,500 program that she held on to for 6 months, and 48 hours after me, she generated over $11,000 in sales. Now, I'm going to say that in 48 hours after sales training, a woman generated over $11,000 in sales. It's all about making very short bullet point results so that people will be like, yep, that's what I want. That's what I want right there. That's what I'm looking for. And so put those tests, but you're putting your actual testimonials. And I'm going to tell you guys, for those of you that are newer in business, don't forget to lean on the free stuff that you did. Always take value in everything that you've done. When I first started my business, like for instance, I was doing things on the life coaching side. I had a woman who had her nieces because her sister ended up in jail, and she was taking care of them because of what was going on in foster care, and she's about to lose her mind. Her kids were older, almost ready to graduate from high school. She was stressed. It was straining her relationship. And I was like, I know what it looks like to deal with the foster care system. I know what they're going to have you do in court. They're going to get you excited, thinking they're going to get a baby back to the mom, and telling, yeah, when you go to court, she can get him back. She's not going to get him back. She's going to have to go through a series of things. They typically want this much stuff done. And statistically, they say it takes 2 years. If your sister's a go-getter, she could probably reverse it in 9 months to up to a year really quickly. But that's, not the norm, And so being real with her, and she would come over and I would talk to her and get her grounded, dealing with the children's behaviors transitioning and them missing their mom. And so she wrote me a very powerful testimonial from the life coaching side of things. And I used that. I wasn't charging her. This was someone whose hair I used to do. And like I said, I was coaching people without even realizing that that's what I was doing. That was just the nature of my personality. One woman was having problems with her husband. I used to meet with her Monday through Thursday. We would go to the park. We would get up in the morning. We would pray. We would study something in the word. We would walk the track, and we would discuss what we were doing. She would always have that Friday, the weekend, to do everything by herself, to implement what we did. And before you knew it, after about 2 months, her husband and her kids started coming out there. Once again, like hardcore coaching, like Ayanna Van Zant, you know what I'm saying? Come fix my life type, level stuff. And I had to lean on those things. And so some of you've had these conversations with people where they like, oh my God, if I didn't talk to you, I would not be clear right now. Sometimes your testimonials are just what you've done. And there's no you may not even have someone that have written a testimonial for you. You got to brag on yourself. You got to brag on what it is that you know that you've done. And I'm going to tell you something, social proof is very important. The more proof that you have to provide, the better it does. When other people are bragging on you, it's even more awesome. But real talk, you have to brag on yourself first, because if you don't, then the question is, who will? If you don't brag on yourself, who will? And so those are all of the elements of a post. So I'm going to go back and do a really quick recap of everything that I said. The first thing you got to do is you got to say something where you speak specifically to the desire of what they want. Small, catchy title, a really bold statement, something that challenges the way they think and how they feel. And then from there, you laser focus on one topic. You need to paint a picture. You've got to tell the story about where they are versus where they want to be. And you're going to, after you say where they want to be, you're going to express, well, this is the outcome of my offer. People that work with me experience, and a lot of the things that are in your what the outcome is those things of where they want to be re-expressed, saying, this is what happens after working with me. You're going to make sure that you clearly and distinctly say, I'm looking for the woman or this person who, and not this person, so that, you can begin to repel freebie seekers or people that aren't meant to work with you. You're going to call that client out by their characteristics. Then you're going to call them to action, say, click a link. You're going to let them know, hey, get on this because you got a limited amount of time. It's a limited amount of people. And by the way, here's a bonus for people who sign up by this time or do this. And because you're going to experience the results that these people experience. Now, mind you, I gave you 9 components, but that doesn't mean you have to write the post in that order. But those are the elements that you need to keep into consideration when you're writing the post. And when you look at some of the people you're going to see that I work with, you'll see where they did that. And so here are 3 things I want you to take into consideration. And this is a bonus. This is a bonus to the strategies that you do. And unfortunately, I'm just going to go ahead and read what I have on the page for this part of the PDF when you guys print it out, but it's bonus strategy. So number 1, there's a post that's really more psychological. And what it is it expresses a common thought. So you converse and educate at the same time. You're presenting the conversation in someone's head. So an example would be, wouldn't it be nice to stop chasing people to be your clients only for them to not want to pay your rates? I would rather be hunted down by people who want my services. And then you just have this conversation where it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, she's in my head. She's saying exactly how I feel. And then you get into painting that picture, yada, yada, yada. This is where you could be. This is how you could do this. Da, 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 da. Clients with me experience with these results. Go ahead and click this link. Bam. That is the psychological post. The second example would be what some people call interruption marketing. And that's like number 1, but it often starts with a common question. And the mind, instead of pulling on the heartstrings, it will challenge their thoughts. So the first one is in alignment with their thoughts. The second one is challenging their thoughts. So example, people often ask me how to get high quality clients online, where you could do it the wrong way or you could do it the right way. And the wrong way would be to spam people. The right way would be to make genuine connections. But how do you do that when everyone is afraid of being spammed? So this is like, bam, you got their brain going. In other words, you're breaking up their thinking. You're making them say, well, dang, same thing like, with you, Terry, there a lot of people save money, but how many people can actually hold on to their savings? And, you could really speak to the core of that because you're dealing with this, right now. You love to spend time in our one-on-one mapping out some of these posts I can do. But that's getting a little fuzzy. No, absolutely. We can do that. And that's coming up pretty soon. But I also want you to know that while I'm going over this, that's why I have this PDF, because listening to me is one thing. I did load it into the group. You can download it and or print it out so that you can actually visually see it. But yes, yeah, we can definitely do that. And so 3, the brain pain, the graduation of interruption marketing. So this is taking it to another level. We're no longer stating something as a question. We're explicitly expressing the nagging pain point. In other words, an example would be, I'm just as good as that coach. Why am I afraid to charge more? Bam. That's like, I'm telling you exactly what it is. So I really should be making more money in my business. There has to be a way for me to make more money. Bam, just saying what it is that they're thinking, how they're feeling, but at the same time saying the challenge instead of, presenting the this or that, coming out explicitly and doing it. And so that's just some bonus things for you to keep in your mind when you're writing out these posts. And so I'm going to give you an example of a short post, even though you guys can look at this and you can see it in the on the thing. I'm going to read it because I want to elaborate on where it said. This sucks you guys can't be on here live with me, but you can always be typing in your questions in the comments or type them in later. And then unfortunately y'all kind of came in at the middle, so that's another thing that may make some stuff kind of fuzzy. But sample post, this is a short one. So women in business always ask me how I've created such loyal, raving clients, especially on social media where people can be so fickle. There are two ways people attempt to do this: spam the hell out of everyone until they find them, which doesn't work. Or you can use professional methods to create contagious, authentic content that connects and attracts paying clients. Secondly, they want to know how they can give value without over giving and sucking the life out of themselves and their business. If you would like to know what is behind this powerful mindset and strategy, don't miss out on this one-time exclusive offer. For one day only, I am offering 10 people an opportunity to have a Q&A personally with me. You will get specific answers according to your brand and industry, date, time. Then I put the location link, and then it says click this link to gain access. So what you see is that in the beginning, what did I do? I put that thing. What is that one desire? What was I laser focused on? This is about being able to create content without feeling the pain of trying to connect with someone because of spamming being an issue in the industry. I talk about what they're dealing with. They're dealing with the spam tactics versus dealing with the professional tactics, being able to connect people. So that's where they are to where they want to be. This doesn't have all of the long bullet points and stuff like that, but this is a short post. This is an example of a short post. And it just says, hey, if you want to get answers to this without elaborating and giving all that stuff, we kind of hop right into saying, go ahead, get this one-time offer. The limiters are that it's one time, it's only for 10 people. So this is an example where I didn't necessarily even include all of the elements, but I'm doing this on purpose because I want you all to see the flexibility in creating the post. Because if you try to stick to the rules and make sure you always have all 9 things, you're not going to get comfortable with creating the post. If you give yourself some liberty, you give yourself some freedom, you're going to get to the point where you're going to add all of these elements. Now, the second example that I give, this one is a longer post, and you're going to see me go through all of these things I said from point 1 through 9. So if you're ready to level up in your business, you need to read this. All caps, high exclamation point. So her story will be a breath of fresh air. So I'm getting, I accidentally put hair. Typo, LOL. I'll have to fix that in a future date. But I'm getting ready to I'm going to paint this picture from where they are to where they want to be. 4 years in the industry, degrees, credentials, and a genius at what she does, but she was ready to throw in the towel. I was drawn to her powerful presence, and we became friends on Facebook. Sometimes we would go live and sometimes she would go live and say something amazing, and then I would see something that seemed a little dark / pessimistic for her. Typically, for many women just like you, she is beautiful, smart, and an expert in her field, but she didn't feel pretty, questioned whether or not she needed more certifications, and waffled on her pricing because she wasn't content. Today, she is solid on her fees, awesome at live video and promotion, has a growing, thriving membership community. She stays booked. Her clients are coming by the droves. What changed? She did. Then here go my matter of fact. Never mind. It's okay. I'll come back to what changed she did. And here go my bullet points. We did a deep dive and looked at the structure of her pricing. We did an analysis of her client profiles to solidify a target audience, strengthened her promotion and marketing, conquered her visibility hurdles, increased her confidence, eradicated her mindset. Okay, that was the technical, typical stuff. The greatest moments were when I opened her up and I saw her genius wouldn't accept anything less. She is unstoppable because now she sees what I saw in her. You are not satisfied. The problem isn't in your ability to make money. You got away from corporate America. Your problem isn't in your ability to make money. You got away from corporate America. You're not going back. At least you work for yourself, but you experience frustration. It isn't normal. You should be head over heels about what you do. At a job, you don't have a choice. As an entrepreneur, you do. Here's the real deal. I don't do psychological BS to get you emotionally charged. You know this. I don't have a templated process for you to fill in a couple of slots and then voila, you become a money making machine. What I do have is knowledge and expertise to get you from feeling like you're shackled to your own dream. I have the solution to eliminate the exhaustion of having your own business. I have the mindset hacks to put you in control of your thoughts so you can become a beast in your business. I'm a confidence engineer who pulls the greatness out the greatness in any woman I work with. You know that. You've seen it. Some of you have watched your friends evolve in your face. So I painted this picture and now I'm getting ready to transition. So it's not just in pricing and structure, but when you see this sister, she has this essence. She is powerful. She is bold and in control. So I'm see how I'm painting the picture of where she wants to be. So you don't have to even say you want to be here. I'm literally giving the example of where a woman is that they observe that they want to be like. So you guys get to be really creative with this, but it's not just in the pricing and structure, but when you see this sister, she has the essence. She is powerful. She is bold and in control. You see the fire in her eyes. You feel the tone in her voice. This is why you keep reading the posts and watching the videos. The answer isn't in the posts or the videos. They went from strategic theory to specific implementation. They allowed me to dig into their mindset. They trusted me, and together we implemented a plan. They allowed me to be their coach, mentor, and guide. Your next level is in you, and I want to pull it out. This is no longer about money. It is about becoming a woman you were created to be. You are the only one standing between you and your success. If you read this far, stop faking and fill out the application, and let's do this. Okay. So the rest of that would then, and I left that like that for a reason during the training. The rest of it would be like, okay, so because if you want to be like this woman and get those things, you need to sign up by this date and so on and put those in there. But instead, with this one, instead of having bullet points of my testimonials, one of the ladies that I worked with was the testimonial. Once again, I know I gave you guys this list, but then you listen to what I wrote, but that's because I want you to see the flexibility of implementing the techniques that I'm talking about. And so what you have at the end, just so you can kind of fill out the blanks to be a guide for you, I want you to go think of a catchy title. If you can't think about a catchy title, come back to that last and fill out the things. What's that one focus? What are you going to help them with? What are the bullet points? What's their current problems? And if you've done the ideal client assignment, you can say, oh, their problems are bam, bam, bam. What do they want? They want bam, bam, bam. What's the outcome of your offer? Which we've talked about this before, ladies. What are those three things that are going to 3 to 5? It doesn't have to be 3, but I gave you space for 3. What are those 3 primary bullet points that is going to be the outcome of the offer, basically the transformation that you provide? Who is she? List characteristics about her so that you can make sure that you're speaking to the person that you're supposed to work with. You don't have to write out the who she's not, but you can make a, this is not for you if, but then you hammer in on who she is. And then last but not least, then you do right, what your call to action is going to be. What are you going to have people signing up for? What's that? And you got to be thinking about what's that overall idea? Where are you funneling them from? Are you taking them from a free offer to a paid offer, from a low ticket offer to a higher ticket offer? But put that thing out there. Put your limiters, what are your bonuses, and what would be your 3 testimonial points. Those are all your skeletal components. And then from there, you put it all together and you work that ish. You work it and you go back and you creatively create something. And like I said, this is a post that you use over and over and over again. You may take out the section where you change the story of what happened to somebody. You may be changing the dates or the offers because it'll be for something slightly different. You may sometimes go back and modify some of the outcomes, because a lot of you, come on now, you got more than 3 or 5 outcomes that's going to happen. And for some of you, like for me, sometimes I'm talking about the Fix My Business group, sometimes I'm talking about the Close the Sales group. So you can be using a similar format, but it could be for, two completely, totally different offers. And so, wow, I did that in just under an hour. I thought this was going to take longer than that, and it definitely, unfortunately, you guys couldn't be here. It would have been great for you to be on here asking specific questions as I was going through. But this is what you want to do. Now, if you notice, I say a lot of you statements, and let me make sure I clarify this. And you guys have heard me say it before. And those of you that have read the sales book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you learn conflict resolution, you learn not to say a lot of you statements. Say, you feel like you don't appreciate me. You say, when this isn't done, I feel unappreciated. But if you say, you make me, well, how do I make you feel? And I'm not, but when somebody says I feel unappreciated, 9 times out of 10, the defense is the Lord, and be like, well, why would you feel like that? I do this. And it usually leads into a better conversation with more positive engagement. Once you put yous out there, it's defensive. But when you're promoting and you're advertising, you've got to be speaking to the person. You want this, you feel this way, because a person has to feel like, how in the world are you inside of my head? So that will keep you from saying too much about I this and I'm this and this is my title, this is what I do, blah 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 blah. You're saying more about she experience, you can experience, because I statements have a tendency to basically turn people off. And that's something that you could think about in your or even on your websites. You take some of what I'm saying to you all, for those of you that have websites, and relook at what you've written on it and say, Dag, how much of me is standing out on my page, and versus how much of my client is standing out on my page. And you can go back and revamp several things to start saying, like if my web, matter of fact, you guys have been on my website. I've done some of this stuff so long ago, I don't even know. Get the attention you deserve with real, raw, relentless business help that'll change your life. Meet your success champion. Let's bring your vision to life. I do talk about myself, but when I talk about myself, it's only in a manner to identify with the person who potentially is going to work with me. I say, this is what I've been through, but you're the, number one unique identifying factor. It's your term, no fluff, no bull. You can use this right away, blah, 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 blah. And so when you go through my page on my website, you'll notice that if you read through it, I say some things about me, but I keep on talking to the person. And even in the beginning, that first statement, even on the next page, get the attention that you deserve when you deserve it. I say a little bit about what I've been through, but then I talk about why that means I'm going to serve that person, in a manner that they need. And even at the closing of that second page, you need a coach who is high touch in real time. So use statements as much as you possibly can. You can't say you enough. Same thing in your posts when you do them. So ladies, that's pretty much it. This right here is one of those things where it may be a lot for you to absorb. Some of you are going to really need to see it printed out in order for you to be able to truly hone in on it. If you're even the slightest bit confused, because everybody learns with different types of styles, don't worry about that. Just come in here and ask your questions. Even as a coach, it helps me with saying, okay, well, maybe I can present this differently, say it differently. And some of it is just the point that you got to work through it. But don't be afraid to come in here and ask your questions. We can do some quick spin-off lives to help you all get through with it. And for those of you that have your one-to-one sessions, we can work on it together and take it from there. But that's pretty much it. So I love you guys. Continue to stay encouraged. We all going through a little something, but ain't none of us going through nothing that's going to take us out, right? Okay, so I'm out of here. Love you guys. Deuces.